Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Mentors Guildcast, the official podcast of the Mentors Guild. I am your host, Dylan. You might know me as Turl online, and I am here with a full team of fellow mentors to kick off our very own podcast. So I'm going to run through our cast here.
Hello.
Hey, say hello.
Hello.
Hey there,
Hi.
everyone.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Mighty fine.
Good. So we have Kulpreet here with us. How you doing, Kulpreet?
Hi.
Good.
Hello, everybody.
We have Sebastian.
Yo.
You might know him as Memento Gallery on Instagram or Twitter.
Or you might not.
What's that?
Or you might not. That's cool.
You might not, or you might not. I don't know how someone can know you if you're listening to this podcast.
Oh, shit.
We've got Marco, also known as Shadow Marcus.
Hello everyone.
How you doing, Marco?
I'm doing great. Spending a lot of time playing, watching TV series.
What are you playing?
Same here. Oh, we're not there yet. You're skipping too far ahead. And finally, we have Six Keys. How you doing, Six Keys?
Hello. And I apologize for my voice in advance because, as I said before we started recording, my voice has been gone for almost 2 months.
I'm sorry to hear that. Is it coming back though?
It's coming back, but slowly.
Okay. All right. We'll just if you'll be all right. Have a couple waters.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are all parts members of the Mentors Guild. The Mentors Guild is a community coalition of different Assassin's Creed community members all across the globe. Right now, we've got people from Italy, United States, the UK. Six Keys, you'll have to remind me exactly which Scandinavian.
Finland.
Finland. And so we have other mentors from across the world, but right now we've got 4 different countries represented here. But each of us brings something different to the guild. I'm the head moderator of the Assassin's Creed subreddit, which is the biggest online forum based on the Assassin's Creed franchise. Kulpreet, why don't you share a little bit about what you do for the Mentors Guild and how you contribute to the AC community?
Yeah, sure. So I'm mainly on social media channels. So I am quite active on Twitter. I have been tweeting about Assassin's Creed since probably 2012. So it's been quite a long time. I'm also a cosplayer too. So I have done quite a few AC cosplays. So I have done an Ezio one, the very, very early one. Edward Kenway, and possibly my favorite was Henry Green from Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So yeah, in terms of the Mentors Guild, I originally joined as a reporter, but what I do kind of spans quite a lot of social media activity stuff. So if you follow me on Twitter, you probably know that I just talk about Assassin's Creed a lot. So, and also
I think that's all of us here. We just tend to talk about
yeah,
Assassin's Creed
we
a
do,
lot.
don't we? Yeah. So I was actually, it's quite interesting because do you ever look back on like your Twitter channel, like what you've been tweeting recently? And I was like, if I was somebody who didn't know that I liked Assassin's Creed, I'd probably just go through my tweets and be like, this girl just kind of needs to get a hobby.
I hear you. Yeah. So that's cool. Yeah. Do you have any upcoming cosplays you've been planning out or working on or anything like that?
Not at the moment. I think any cosplay would know that cosplays can be very time consuming, and I have been pretty busy recently with just personal life things going on. But when I get round to doing it, I know it's not a new character, but I would absolutely love to do Evie Fry. It's one that I've always wanted to do and just did not get round to doing it. I mean, I think it's been banding around Twitter recently the past few days because I think it's free to play at the minute.
Yeah, that's right. AC Syndicate's free to play, free to get on Epic Games Store. Right
yeah, that's it. So I saw that, and do you know what? I absolutely love Syndicate. I think personally it's one of like the most underrated AC games, and I loved Evie Fry, and just the opportunity just to dress up as her and just be like badass in London would just like make my life.
Right. Sweet. Well, cool. Well, I hope it comes sooner than later. but yeah, thanks. Sebastian, what do you
Yeah,
bring to the table?
I'm bringing
What do you bring to
aesthetics.
your aesthetics? What do you mean by
Yeah,
that?
I do everything that has to do with visual arts. I'm there. Photo mode, drawings, paintings, and that's it really. I started when virtual photography didn't even have a name, and that's why I'm here. That's what brought me here with you guys. It's the pictures that I took in games.
So what inspired you to start doing virtual photography? Because like you said, it wasn't really a thing when you said
Mm.
you
What we were
started. Like
talking
what made
about,
you want to start just like taking pictures in a video game?
right? We were talking about most underrated AC games. Well, it's Unity for me.
Okay.
I remember I was in a club in AC Unity. Do you remember the game had clubs? It was sort of online, and part of the people I was in, a bunch of people I was in the club were into taking pictures together. And at some point we had so many, I was like, we should put them somewhere. So I made an Instagram account for us. But then at some point the game died out. The co-op wasn't playing. It wasn't just there anymore. People weren't playing anymore. And eventually no one was uh taking part in that account. So I was the only one left, and I just kept posting. And before I knew it, people flooded in, and they were into taking pictures in AC. And then AC got a photo mode, and yeah,
Well, sweet.
yeah, it
So
was
I
fun.
think Ubisoft has you to thank then.
It is.
For helping
I
photo
do
mode like
think
become a thing.
I do think that photo mode is a great tool
Right.
for community and marketing too. So
I
yeah.
don't know how people. I don't know how people do it. Like people take these amazing photos in the game, and I try, and they just look really kind of basic. But some of yours are just absolutely incredible. I just can't
You
believe.
just keep trying until you get good ones. I think photo mode in video games is actually a very great training ground for taking actual photos in real life, because after years of taking pictures in video games, not just AC, I sort of developed the actual skills to do it in real life. So it does help.
Well,
That's amazing.
yeah, that's really cool. I have a little bit of photography background, so it's cool to use some of those skills in the game.
Mhm.
My shots aren't anywhere near as good as yours, but it's all still really fun to kind of take a break from the action of constantly getting in fights or
Mhm.
whatnot. It's like a whole nother part of the game. It's like a second game, a game within the game. So it's really
Yeah.
cool. All right, we're gonna move on to Marco. Marco,
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Yeah.
So Marco, you're kind of been a mainstay in the AC community since like I don't know, it's been a long time. What do you work on? What do you do as part of the AC community?
So I am one of the admins of a fan project called Access the Animus. You might have heard of, and basically we've been around since 2013. We've been covering everything concerning the AC franchise, from news to the lore, to the plot points, collection stuff, all kinds of information to keep everyone updated on everything that is happening on AC, and like to try and have like a hub for everyone that is a fan of the AC franchise. So our project is something that is always working behind the scenes. So even right now, like you said, what we are working on is we're working on some upcoming reviews of transmedia, because like this is what's keeping AC alive these days. And as usual, we're covering the news for everyone to see and share their opinions about.
So there's a lot of AC news and a lot of stuff that you guys put out. How many people are part of your team at Access the Animus?
The team is made up of 6 people as of now, and There's we started as an Italian only project, so we were only Italian people behind the project, and we were only creating content in Italian. But then, like a few months afterwards, we were actually asked by fans to share our content in English as well. So when we branched out to English, we also started to have other English-speaking people from the community that joined our project. So now there's 4 Italian people covering most of, like, I'm working on the news and the articles and the lore stuff. I have like my lovely wife Sarah, who's taking care of the website. Then we have Stefania, who is working on the Twitter account and translating all our content. And we have also Hephaestus, who's working on the articles on the plot. And we have, like I said, also a lovely lady called Sorosis, who you might have heard because she's part of the Mentors Guild as well. And she's working on the lore articles and reviews. And then we have Mathieu, who is covering the collection pieces, and he's like one of the strongest collectors on the globe. He has everything.
Yeah,
And
I've seen a few pictures. Yeah,
he has
kind of
like
nuts.
an entire room of his house, and it's
Right.
filled with AC stuff. It's great.
Yeah. So it's you and Sari and Sorosis.
I hope that's pronounced correctly.
I don't know. It's always difficult to pronounce, but Sorosis. So we've got 3 members from Access the Animus that are part of the Mentors Guild.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool, because I think it's the only group that has multiple members to be part of the Mentors Guild. So you guys kind of bring something a little more different than a lot of us are. Each individuals doing our own kind of things in different little corners, but you guys have a whole team. A large part of your team, is part of the Mentors Guild.
I think that's also because we're covering so many topics that some of us are like experts on some specific topics concerning the community and like the brand itself. So maybe that's why we're
I mean, sometimes I think you guys do even a better job than the brand does itself of letting people know, what's going on and where you can find what thing and what comes out when. So
we're doing our best. Yes.
You guys have always
doing our best to keep everyone updated on.
They know everything. I learned things from them before than the actual sources.
Look, I just can't keep up.
Yeah, well, if you can't keep up, you can just follow us.
Yeah, all right. Well, and then finally, we have 6 Keys with us. So 6 Keys, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit?
So, I'm the mentor representing the official Assassin's Creed forums. I've been a member there since 2010, so like a whole decade.
Right, yeah, that's a long time.
And ever since Brotherhood, really.
That's about the time I joined too, because I remember what was funny when we met for the first time, and when we went to Ubisoft Montreal to see AC Origins. We had met each other, and I was like, "Do you remember me from the forums years ago?" And
you were like making signatures, graphic signatures for people, which they don't even have anymore.
Unfortunately, the gone feature. That's all right. But
the forums are not really as active anymore as they used to be. But with every game, of course, the activity surges a little bit. So I'm still kind of hanging around.
What's your favorite kind of thing to do on the forums? I mean, in general, you talk about Assassin's Creed, but like, what are the types of conversations or topics you most enjoy talking about?
I kind of try to, of course, like I have my own opinions about stuff, but I also try to direct the conversation to a more constructive criticism type. Because people obviously get a little passionate about certain topics, and sometimes feelings can get a little heated. So I'm kind of trying to encourage people to express their feelings, but in a way that's respectful to the devs and to the community itself.
That's cool to hear. Yeah, and so I relate to that a lot because I'm a moderator over Assassin's Creed Reddit, which is itself a forum with its own kind of versions of that. But making sure people stay civil and following our rules is a big part of what I do. Along with the rest of my moderation team, I've got 3 other people, and we even have our own Discord that we manage.
Sometimes sometimes we also post polls where fans can give their opinions about certain aspects of the series, or asking for comments. What would you like to see in the future? Where would you like the series to go? How do you feel about transmedia? All kinds of things.
Yeah,
to kind
we
of
were
encourage
go ahead.
this engagement in the community.
Yeah, I remember we need to bring them back soon and get them going again. But for a while, we had weekly community discussions where we would, invite people to talk about specific discussion for the week, and then we would be able to take those conversations, and the community development team is able to go in and kind of analyze all of that information direct from the community on very specific topics. So yeah. Cool.
I also do a little bit of fan art now and then, but I haven't posted anything in a long time.
I wish you would do more. I've seen some of your stuff. And I'm always
same.
I didn't know she was such a great artist.
I'm
so against that.
Very I
You need to
haven't
post more.
drawn in a while. I'm a bit rusty.
Yeah, we'll have to. Well, you gotta work on that.
Yeah.
No. All right. So then I kind of talked about myself a little bit. Like I said, I'm a moderator of Assassin's Creed Reddit. If you don't know what Reddit is a third-party website that has a online forum for any topic you could think of. You want to talk about cats, they've got that. You want to talk about world politics, they've got that. You want to talk about cheese, they've got one for that. Yeah, so there's a Reddit community for every topic you could possibly think of. And I am a moderator on the Assassin's Creed based one. And I think we're at somewhere around over 200,000 subscribers right now at this point. So it's a sizable community. There's a lot of posting going on. It can become a place that's not always fun to be in, but we've worked hard to try and make it a civil place that people can come in and be friendly and or be critical and share their art and all that. Anything you can think of that's comes straight from the community is it often finds its way onto the AC Reddit. So yeah, that's our mentors for today. There's, how many others do we have? At least 10?
I think we are at
15 more or something.
15
I think we're at 14 totally in total.
Yes. Yeah. So what we'd love to do at this podcast going forward is to make sure that we rotate mentors in, and everybody, if they'd like, they can come on the show and talk about, what they've got going on currently, what the, talk about, what they like and don't like about the franchise right now, and
initiatives like giveaways and stuff.
So just to get everybody talking and grab those different corners of the community and get them together, which is a big part of what the Mentors Guild is about. So if you guys want to, feel free to pop in real quick, but I'm just going to talk a little bit more about the Mentors Guild. So the Mentors Guild was actually a Ubisoft initiative. They came to us and they said, we see this real opportunity for our community to be a little more closer knit, a little more united, a little more, like I said, grabbing those different corners and bringing them together. And we also want the community to be more involved in our, in the way that we make games. And so they came to us and grabbed some, it wasn't even just people that were like, oh, these people have huge followings online. this person's got a huge YouTube channel. It was people that they felt were, just good representatives for the community and brought something unique and different to the table. And so it started in 2017. I think everyone but Sebastian was part of the first.
I was.
Real life. Oh, you weren't?
No,
Gary was
Marco
there.
and I are second generation.
Yeah,
that's second gen. I'm
We're the-
OG.
I thought you
We're
were
OG.
first.
Yes,
He was in spirit. Now he's officially
I
there.
was just there. Yeah.
So then it's me, 6 keys. So me, six keys, Colpre, and I think 7 other mentors all met at Moviesoft Montreal, and we saw an early version of HC Origins, and we're able to give our feedback, and we're able to kind of talk about what we wanted to see, how we'd like to see the community move forward, and what types of cool projects we could do as part of the Mentors Guild. And since then, it's just grown, and everyone's, we've added a second generation of members, including Sebastian and Marco. And this podcast is an initiative that we came up with in that 2017 meeting. But it's just, it's just taken a while to get it going. It's tough to get everybody in the same Discord channel, on a regular basis, and meanwhile doing all of our other normal Assassin's Creed community duties. So yeah.
But at least we got it rolling now.
So no pressure. It's just we work on each episode for 2 years to bring you the best.
Actually, yeah. So this was started
for the second one
in 2017. Marco and Sebastian don't know this, but they're going to be part of the Mentors Guild in 2018. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just taken 2 years to get this out.
Yeah.
My God. But we're finally doing it. So the way this podcast is kind of going to work, it's going to be a little bit different maybe each time. We'd love to have guests come onto our podcast from community. We'd really love to have guests come in from Ubisoft directly, whether it's people that work on the game, or voice actors, you name it. We'd love to have those guests onto this show. But generally speaking, we're going to have a format where we kind of introduce our guests. We kind of go over what they've been playing, what they've been doing, what they've been watching, whether it's related to AC or not. I'm assuming a lot of the time it is going to be related to AC because we all just, spend a lot of our time doing things related to the franchise. Then we'll kind of talk about recent AC news, if there is any. And then after that, we'll be taking community questions. So our community questions, you're going to be able to direct to the Mentors Guild Twitter and the Instagram. So both of our tags on those platforms are at Mentors Guild. So on Twitter and Instagram, if you ever have a community question you want answered on this podcast, feel free to send it to at Mentors Guild on Twitter and Instagram. Before each recording, I'm sure we'll send something out that says, "Hey, we got a podcast coming up. You got a question?"
And in 2 years, you will get your answer.
Yeah, and then 2 years, yeah. So the next we're doing this one will come out. So 2022 is the next episode.
I mean, you have 2 years to prepare your questions, so
yeah. So they better be good.
You have a lot of
be
thinking
really
time.
good. A lot
A lot of thinking time.
And we better have good answers
make it
too,
good.
because we have 2 years to prepare. So
yeah, true.
And
So-
about the timeline, sort of, we are not currently planning on having this be a weekly or monthly thing necessarily.
yeah.
It's just because we don't always know, obviously, when new AC news are coming out. So we're just kind of going to time them when we know that there's something interesting happening in the world of AC.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's changed a little bit. So especially with Odyssey, there's been a lot more regular content coming out. So it'll be hopefully in the future, it'll be a little bit easier for us to do something a little more regular. But yeah, do not expect this podcast to become something that you see every week or every month, because, we might not just have a lot to talk about, or it's going to be tough to get, 3 to 5 of us in a Discord chat or get a guest on or what have you. But we'll do our best to try to make these as frequent as possible without being empty with content. Yeah. So now that we've got everybody introduced, and hopefully you guys got our listeners have a better understanding of the Mentors Guild, I think we can kind of talk a little bit about has anybody here been playing or doing or anything related to AC lately?
I've been watching news about it on Access the Animus.
Oh, come on. That's a sick plug.
Oh my god. I didn't even ask for that plug. But thank you. Thank you so much.
I haven't been playing or watching, but I have been following again on Access the Animus the manga
Yes.
news that are coming
This
out.
is an
about-
Access the Animus podcast now.
Yes.
Well, I can say that I've been reading the manga in Japanese.
How is it?
In Japanese.
In
Well,
Japanese?
Yeah. Well, the manga
Wait,
has
you can.
No,
How
I
can
can't.
you read Japanese?
I
You have
can't.
someone to translate it.
No, no. I translate it.
You just look at the pictures.
No, it's no, absolutely not. Through a very complicated and very boring but long process.
So what you're telling me is you literally just copy paste text into Google Translate.
Yeah,
and-
it's not.
Wow.
Very long and complicated.
How do you copy paste it? You have to do it manually because it's
That's
on
the thing. I'm not copy pasting.
yeah.
I'm using
Wow.
additional software, say, and to go through all the dialogue by each character, and then we with Sauruses we go through the entire chapters every month because this is released monthly and has been released since October or November. And
I thought it just started.
No. We started in November. Now we are at a few days ago, Chapter 5 was released. We have been up to date up until Chapter 4. And we have every month we release a review, a non-spoiler review, then a synopsis and sort of like a brief analysis of what happened. And
To those who might not be aware of the manga, it's about Xiao Jun, the Chinese assassin who first appeared in the animated short
Embers.
Embers
Yeah.
featuring Ezio.
So basically this manga is the historical part is based on Xiao Jun's story, especially the one that has been shared in the Chronicles China game, which was released a few years ago. So basically it's tracing Xiao Jun's steps while she's coming back to China and has to face the 8 Tigers, which is like a group of Templars that is getting their hold on China.
So it's like after Ember?
Yeah, it's after Embers, and it's most of it is the same story from Chronicles China, even though there are some part of the chapters that share new story for Xiao Jun and like some new characters that she encounters. And also the manga has present day that takes place in 2019 and now 2020. And
Who are those characters then that are in the present day?
Present day. Well, present day has like the main character is called Lisa Yang.
So it's a new character. Okay.
It's a new character, and she is, I think, 18 or 19 years old. And basically, it's sort of like taking some elements from the movie from the AC movie, in that she is having like some violent behaviors and stuff like that. So she's going to an Abstergo clinic.
She's got like anger issues.
Sorry?
She's got like anger issues.
Yeah, something like that. It still has to be explained properly through a backstory or something like that. But yeah, she has had, while she was at school, she has had violent behaviors, and she had to like retire or something like that. So she goes to this Abstergo clinic, and there's this doctor called Kaori Kagami, and she's putting on a face saying that she's helping her to overcome her issues. but really she's actually going through Xiaojun's story to find out about a quote unquote treasure, which is kind of strange because if it's still not clear if they're going for the precursor box that Xiaojun has been going for in the Chronicles China game, which Abstergo already found out about in the past, or if they're going about another treasure that it's still not clear what that is. But basically, that's the summary of the manga up until now.
So, you kind of said that it was similar to the Chronicles story. So, if someone has played the Chronicles, they're mostly getting the same story. Is that what you're saying?
Let's say 70% of that for the historical part of the game is in the manga.
Okay. Okay.
Obviously, you're missing out on the modern day.
Right.
Obviously.
So is there plans to bring this to like a English translation at any point?
I think that Amar mentioned on Twitter that it's going to be translated to English and French for now. It's not like the release date hasn't been set yet. And I don't know how long the manga is going to run because now we are at chapter 4. And we are basically at sequence 4 of the game. And the game had like at least 13 sequences. Almost each chapter is more or less following the sequences of the Chronicles China game. So now Xiaojun is leaving a port town called Macau that has been set on fire. And if you have played the game, you know that's at the beginning. So that's 30% of the game.
Okay. All right.
So I'm curious about the modern day. Is Lisa or Liza, what was her name?
Lisa.
Lisa, is she directly related to Xiaojun? Because recent games have been introducing the idea that people who use the animus no longer need to be direct descendants.
No. Actually not. Like Lisa is as far as I know, she is a descendant of Xiaojun, and they are using, at least from some of the panels where they showed it, they're using like an old kind of animus, like the one where she is like lying and has like a visor on going across her head, like similar to the one in AC1. So it's not even the chair for now.
So it's the VR. Okay.
Yeah, it's the VR.
So we have how many versions of the animus?
Right. Like every single game or transmedia, they change it. Like I think even in Origins, they had the one where you just lie down on a table.
Yeah, that's even different.
Yeah, and then Odyssey, they went back to the VR, or was that new then? See, I can't even remember anymore. It's all bleeding.
Well, in Origins and Odyssey, they're using like this new version of the animus called HR8 or something like that.
Yeah, and they're able to use. Yeah, they're able to use DNA from. Well, Origins, they use DNA from mummies, and then Odyssey, they use DNA from a spear.
Yep, exactly.
Maybe. Okay, that sounds close.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Then you have the crazy claw in the film.
Oh yeah, I know that thing's kind of awesome, but also, so one thing I didn't understand was you're mimicking the thing of what you're doing while you're in the arm. But let's say you're running, and then the arm goes all the way out, like as far as it can, and then you just keep running. Is that what it does?
I think so.
I don't think so.
I think it's like a treadmill effect, like right at the end of like the claws, like as far as it can stretch, and then you're just kind of like.
It's just barely holding you high enough off the ground, like your dog. You're like a dog or something that's being held up, and its legs are still running, but it's not touching the ground.
Or maybe the floor moves as well. I didn't notice actually. Does it do that?
No, it doesn't, because it's just like a.
It was a stone.
There's
what
no
was
floor.
You're just
I think it was.
suspended, aren't you?
I think. Well, there's sometimes they're on the floor, and then sometimes they're suspended.
Because at some point he landed.
I think we're
and he was on
thinking
the floor.
more deeply about it than the filmmakers were.
Yeah, as usual, as always.
All right, I'm gonna have to turn my brain off for a second then and just try to move on. Yeah, so cool. Is there anybody else been playing or doing anything AC related?
I've been
recently?
playing Black Flag on the Switch.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because that
So-
recently came out with the Rebel collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I haven't played Black Flag, well, since I completed it kind of when it came out. So that was quite a while ago. So it was actually quite nice to kind of come back to it. And the funny thing is the first thing I kind of realized when I was playing it was how far the games have come in terms of like parkour. and
Right,
just
yeah.
Generally how much they've advanced, because I was kind of doing things that I would like pressing buttons and doing things that I would do in, say, Odyssey, and then like the opposite effect happened in Black Flag, and I was just trying to kind of go back to the Black Flag controls. But I've had a lot of questions on social media about how well it kind of ports onto the Switch. And actually, they've done a really, really good job. Handheld is still beautiful, and when you dock it and it's on the TV screen, it works really, really well. I think I've only had a couple of like sort of really minor issues, sensitivity of the controls being one of them. But you can play around with the settings for that. But it's been great to go back and kind of like have a play again with Edward Kenway. So enjoying that.
Yeah, I haven't touched that one yet on the Switch, but I did do a little bit of Assassin's Creed 3, which is similar-ish. It was like what came out the year before that. Yeah. So yeah, I was impressed by how good it looked on what is essentially a phone or something like that. Yeah, it's cool to kind of revisit those. And did they make any changes to like any of the gameplay or anything? Because I know they did not a lot, but they did do some changes for AC3. Like you could do some free aim with the bow, and they made some changes to some of the mission design and stuff like
I don't
that.
think they did any.
Or you don't
The
think they
menu
touched
is touch sensitive now. That's a little.
Oh, so you can
cool.
like use the touchscreen on
Yeah.
AC4?
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
Like if you tap on
Honestly,
the map in game, the map will open up. If you tap on the map will open up. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, and they don't obviously they don't have the social element anymore that they had at release, where you would like as a community you would have to like find white whales or something together, and because that online component is not there anymore. But I think you can still like buy the components that you need, like the white whales. You can just buy them from a store or something, because some of the ship upgrades actually require those parts.
Right. Or they might have done something where they made it so you can find the whales on your own or something like that. Yeah, I haven't.
No, they just don't have them.
Oh, they just took them out?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I mean, they did that.
Oh, and they do have some new content, like outfits.
Oh, that's right, because they added.
They included really new ones. They have Alexios from Odyssey and Aguilar from the movie.
Oh, and
like
Aguilar too. Yeah.
And Arno and Jacob from Syndicate.
Yeah, it's cool to see those like come back. It's really weird to see new games go back into the old games, but that feature of like being able to put on other assassins like robes, I know has always been super popular. Like everyone really likes that feature, and every time they announce a new one, and there's always questions of like, is that feature going to be back in this again? And then it's just like, no, unfortunately not. It hasn't been in there since Syndicate.
But I also understand
maybe Unity. I don't know.
The series is like a decade old now. They can't put every single outfit in.
Right. Yeah. It's like, does someone have to remake those models in the new engine?
Yeah.
Have you? So.
But I actually I played the original on PC, because I played all the games on PC, and I actually feel like the Switch is like an ideal platform for Black Flag, it surprised me because the missions are pretty short, which is ideal for the platform.
Yeah.
And I actually found the controls were interesting because on the original PC release, I often found them a little bit too easy. I don't know if it was just just me being so familiar with the controls over the years and everything, but I feel like the Switch version actually, you have to get used to this whole new control scheme and everything. So it kind of offers that extra challenge that I wanted from the original.
So when you play on PC, are you usually using a keyboard and mouse?
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
Oh,
always.
I could never play these games like that.
The
Like,
only-
to me, that is
I do
like
play Origins and Odyssey are the first ones that I've played with the controller, and I think I'm gonna do that going forward because the controls
Yeah.
have changed so much.
Yeah, I
But
think
I still
these-
play the originals on keyboard.
I see. Yeah, I think that the games. I don't know how anybody. I know there are a couple people, especially like Leo K, who's a very skilled Assassin's Creed player. He plays on mouse and keyboard, but I just don't know how you could play these games without a controller. Like,
And
Yeah,
I'm the
just-
opposite because I've tried the originals on the controller and I just find them so imprecise with the movement stick.
I see what you mean. Yeah, with the thumbsticks and all that. All right.
Hmm.
All right. So I think we're gonna wrap up this kind of what have you been doing, playing section, and move on to AC news. There's not a whole lot right now AC news related. We're kind of in that dead area where everyone's just waiting to hear the new game announced, which I'm sure we'll probably hear some sort of announcement in the next, at least by E3. I would be shocked if there was no AC game this year, especially since we just had a year off. But anyways, in the meantime, there's a new, the first ever Assassin's Creed audiobook releasing on February 27th called AC Gold. It sounds like this was a kind of a partnership, or it's a partnership with Audible. So, which is it's an audiobook kind of streaming service. I don't have it. Does anyone here have audio?
I do.
I do
Yeah.
not yet.
You do
Not
not
yet.
yet. But
It's,
you're
you
planning
can
on it
stream-
for
You
AC
can stream audiobooks, but also download them onto any device that you
okay.
have.
Okay.
That's cool. I haven't used it, but I'm planning on using it for this. This will be the first one.
Yeah, so it sounds like this is specifically made to be an audiobook. Like, I don't think they're not doing like a printed version of the story, are they? Like, I haven't heard any.
As far as I know, they don't.
So it's a exclusively...
No, but I'm pretty sure Access the Animus will write it down and make it available soon enough.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it's like a first for the franchise, and I'm not really familiar with how like audiobook series. Like, I know what an audiobook is, but I've never really been part of an audiobook or a series or anything like that. So I'm interested because it's different, and it's definitely new, and it's going to be interesting to see how they try to apply the how do they apply the brand or the franchise into a totally new format. But I mean, just looking at the cast list though, I'm not too worried because there's kind of some heavy hitters in here. Like Riz Ahmed is a Emmy winner and a Golden Globe nominee. I've seen him on The Night Of and Rogue One. So I've seen him in a couple of things, and I actually really like him. I love his performances, and those on-screen movies. And A Night Of is actually a show, but I'm interested to see how he does like a voice-only performance.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I think he's playing. Well, we'll get into the plot and stuff, but we also have fan favorite Danny Wallace. So Danny Wallace played Sean Hastings in AC1, AC2, AC Brotherhood.
Not AC1.
That's right. They didn't come until 2. Gosh, I don't know anything. I'm like rusty. My AC lore is rusty. It's not good. Gotta work on that. AC2, Brotherhood, Revelations 3,
and Syndicate.
Yeah, so it's
Also
interesting seeing that they brought him back for this, because people have been wanting Hastings and Sean and Rebecca to be part of the franchise since they kind of left, right?
Yeah. Basically, like since Syndicates, people have been asking, like, are they coming back? Are they coming back? And they, as characters, they came back in the Last Descendants books.
That's right.
But that was just a few mentions here and there, and that was that. Also, if you don't hear them or see them, it's not the same feeling, you know.
Right. Are they in that board game? The Venice something of Venice? Nope.
Brotherhood of Venice.
Brotherhood
of Venice.
Yes.
Well, Rebecca should be there, if I recall correctly, and Layla will be there. Sean, I'm not sure.
But we need them to be together, Sean and Rebecca, because they are the comic relief. And God knows if we need relief.
Yeah, they're like R2D2 and C3PO something. Sean Hastings is C3PO. Boom.
I actually have a couple of audiobooks from Danny Wallace, and he has done like he has narrated his own books before. So I know that he can do that. So I'm looking forward to his performance.
You know what he should do? He should really do a thing where you can download his voice for like the GPS. And he's I'm not gonna do the impression. Okay, no, I'll do it. Turn left, you stupid idiots. I don't know.
that's good, actually.
That was really bad.
Like, you useless twat. You missed the turn.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna have to bip this one out.
Yeah, so it's interesting they brought him back. I wonder if that means he might come back for like a game. Like
that
is
would be
it
cool?
That would be cool, because it's like it'd be kind of odd to just see him come for an audiobook. Nothing against audiobook or anything like that, but then not see him for a game. So
I mean, hopefully, if it does well.
Hopefully. Like, fans have been asking for him and Rebecca for years now, so
yeah,
fingers crossed.
Yeah, so
and I'm actually pretty excited about this because I haven't, like, I have one or two books from the what are they called, like Last Descendants, and
yes.
I've tried reading them, but I just don't have the attention span these days for regular books. Like, I like drawing or doing something else at the same time so I can listen, and I'm just really looking forward to having like a book kind of format of AC that I can actually
someone telling you
follow.
a story.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
like Gold would be perfect for you. And like
Yeah,
some of these books are also in the audiobook format. Like the Last Descendants, some of them can also be listened
Yeah,
to.
I think the second book was in audio format, but I figured like I kind of have to read the first one, I think, to know what's
probably,
going on.
Yes, indeed.
It's weird that they only have the second one.
Yeah, that's pretty strange, I guess.
Yeah, I'm excited for it because I'm someone who listens to decent podcasts, music and stuff, especially like when I'm driving or at work. Or I'm gonna be honest, I have almost the full collection of all the AC like novels that have come out, and I still have yet to read like most of them. So it'll be nice to kind of have something that I can put on when I'm doing something else. Yeah, so to round out that cast, like I said, we have Riz Ahmed, Danny Wallace, Anthony Head of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Do you know who this person is? Yes. I do not.
Yeah, he was Buffy's mentor.
Yeah, he was Professor Giles.
What?
Yes.
Who? Oh no.
Like if you have watched Buffy, like the series, like he was the professor, like the one with the glasses. And
that's really cool.
As far as I know, he's gonna be voicing.
I think he was also in a few episodes of Doctor Who or Torchwood.
Is he playing? Wait, well, maybe. I don't know. I was gonna say, is he gonna be playing Gavin Banks, who is No,
he's gonna be playing Isaac Newton. As far
as okay. That's interesting.
Okay, and then finally we have Tamara Lawrence of Corvidae and on Chesil Beach. I don't really know those too well. Has anybody seen either of those or familiar with those? All right. Well, I mean, if you're
Isaac Newton wasn't there something about Isaac Newton in Rogue?
In Rogue?
Like the box that they used? Was there something like the box
Maybe it was mentioned.
required electricity, and they said something about Isaac Newton having worked it or something? I don't remember.
Ooh, the blood thickens.
What happened?
Yeah.
Well, with that,
I mean, it's been years since I played Rogue, but
let's try and get into a little bit about what AC Gold is. So AC Gold, I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's literally paragraphs long, but AC Gold is a standalone tale from the Assassin's Creed universe in which we meet Aliyah Khan, a card shark and hustler who's been dealt a rough hand in life. Surviving through her smarts and street scams, Aliyah struggles to get by until she loses big time to a mysterious older man, Gavin Banks. So Gavin Banks is a returning modern day character. Am I correct? From the Facebook long gone initiates story that now only exists. It only exists on Access the Animus. So if you want to know who Gavin Banks is, go on Access the Animus.
Yeah, like he was one of the main characters for the modern day of AC Initiates, and it was mentioned in some audio files in AC Rogue. So now most of the fans are looking for Danny Wallace and Sean coming back, but like some of the hardcore fans are looking forward to Gavin as well, because he was like a main character. He was like the let's say the mentor, the acting mentor when William Miles was like hiding after Desmond was dead. So basically, Gavin was holding the Brotherhood while William was grieving, basically. So he's a character that not a lot of people know, but at the same time, for the Brotherhood, he's a very important character.
Well, I'm expecting an analysis.
Everything is connected, isn't it? So I just love how there's always these little like crossovers in a lot of the stuff that AC brings out. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that's what the transmedia releases are doing right now. They're sort of like covering stuff from here and there and trying to connect or reuse characters that haven't been covered by the games recently.
I think I think generally that's a really nice thing that AC does. And I really like that about the franchise. And I think quite a lot of other people do. The fact that a lot of characters, they don't just leave them. They kind of brought in a bit later on. And because sometimes you don't really get to see, well, it's kind of impossible to kind of continue everybody's story arc in like one game. But it's nice, like, because they did that with Freedom Cry, didn't they, with Adewale as well? So they had like the standalone game.
Right.
And yeah, it was just like I just that's personally something I really like about AC is the fact that like these characters kind of come and go, but you do get to know a bit more about them.
Yeah, I'm excited for it because I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know much about the Initiate storyline. I don't really know a lot about Gavin Banks. I know a little bit about like his significance at the time of like when I guess the assassins were probably at like their lowest low point.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're like there's not many of them. I think most of the Brotherhood was on a boat, the Altair 2.
Yes.
Yeah, the 2. So it's going to be cool to kind of see that character and learn more about who he is and reintroduce him to people that really don't know him that well.
Is it Alia's a new character though, right? Isn't she?
Yeah, it seems like she's a brand new character. She's pulled kind of out. She's not part of the Brotherhood, but it says here that her only option to repay Banks is to become an assassin. So she is now she's joined the Brotherhood against her own will. So that's a different kind of take on people that come.
It's not kind of like the vengeance storyline thing that's been going on.
So
I'm not sure how I feel about assassins just going around recruiting people who lost at gambling.
Here's your punishment.
Like she has no other skills.
I mean, maybe he's kind of seeing it as like, oh, you owe me this debt and I can tell you're having a rough time. So you'll pay me back, but I'll give you somewhere to stay. I'll give you place, food to eat, yada, yada, yada. but maybe he's just kind of trying to do that little mentoring thing. Maybe it's not the nicest thing to be like, you're gonna repay me by becoming a part of our cult. But
Yeah, let's see how it plays out. Maybe he likes it.
But maybe he kind of sees something in her and is able to,
And it is, the assassins do need people. Like, I'm guessing she's actually going to become an assassin, but they do have people like Sean who are like just historians and people behind the scenes. So you do need all kinds of people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was going to say that actually this is not really the first time that AC has done something like this, because Black Flag actually kind of had this modern day thing where you could find tapes. You hacked computers and you could find this whole audio play of Warren Vidic and Subject 1 or Subject 0. Yeah, and this whole story about the development of the Animus.
Yeah, that was like, it's not the first audio story that we know about, but it's the first audio book and audio product that was released for AC. So it's funny. It's gonna be funny to compare those, like the let's say audio drama that Darby McDavid wrote in AC4, and compare it to this one, because this one is gonna have a little more depth, because the one in AC4 was around 40 minutes, and this one will be 4 hours and 40 minutes. So
yeah, I'm excited because I'm sure the production value is going to be great on it. Like, there's going to be sound effects and maybe some
for sure,
ambient music, and it'd be a cool way to experience the story. So I'll try not to. I was about to skip ahead here, but I'll keep going. Okay, so she does her training. Banks tells her about the centuries-old battle between the assassins and Templars. It sounds like he needs her because he needs to decode a secret message inscribed on an illegal form of currency during the Great Recoinage of 1696. So the historical part of this audiobook takes place during Isaac Newton's 17th century Britain. It's actually a kind of a time period that I really don't know anything about. It's kind of out there. So that's one of the big reasons why I actually like the franchise a lot, is they'll oftentimes pick a franchise that you might not know a lot about, or just isn't really covered in other forms of media, and you'll learn about it through this story in a way that's really interesting. Because I'm going to be honest, the Great Recoinage of 1696 doesn't sound super exciting, but I know by the end of
they're going to make it.
But I'm going to be like, that was awesome. Like, why don't people know about the Great Recoinage of 1696?
That's always my favorite, when the franchise goes into unexpected places.
Right,
and
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's super interesting, actually.
I just love how Isaac Newton is in this one. Like, how all the games have like the historical kind of character. I just love how Isaac Newton is this one.
And
like
looking
Leonardo
at
da Vinci, he was like my favorite.
Yeah, and he wasn't really what people expected either, because people always knew Da Vinci as like this old person who, with his big beard, and who was just known as this great Renaissance painter. But in the game, he was just kind of Ezio's best pal, and
just a fun guy,
a dork.
Yes, it's always fun to see their takes on these historical characters.
And it's funny because, like, looking at the description, Newton will appear as warden of the Royal Mint. Is not gonna appear like as an inventor. Like, the main feature that is described about him is like his part of the Royal Mint, his work at the Royal Mint. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, so it sounds like he's got a real kind of an authoritative position as part of the Royal Mint, and maybe someone that the protagonist might have to, I don't know. Like, I don't think they'll make Isaac Newton a Templar, but I guess do we know if Isaac Newton was a Templar?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so we'll kind of find out where he'll land on that kind of whole that battle. And then it sounds like there's a couple other characters: con artist and counterfeiter William Shaloner.
Shaloner, yes, I think so.
Shaloner. Does anyone know? Do you know who William Shaloner is?
He's a historical character.
Okay.
Like he actually was a counterfeiter at the time. So that's an actual historical sort of like battle between Newton and Shaloner. Sort of.
I don't know. So there's always a twist, right?
Yeah.
There's somebody that you expect to be a friend and someone you don't expect to be, and then eventually they'll turn on you. And so maybe that could be one of these two people, or could be a different character completely. But it sounds like Aaliyah Khan is going to be, using the Animus to relive the memories of blind assassin Omar Khaled, which I think is actually what I think is the most interesting part of this whole.
This is freaking cool.
Yeah, because
in my opinion,
it takes advantage of the limitations of the audiobook. So you're going to be interacting with this world in the same way that Omar Khaled did, which is he can't see anything. So it's only going to be based, real for us, it'll only be based on sound. He has other things like touch and smell and all that. But then there's it sounds like he is learning from another assassin named Rose Galloway. Is that a name that we know? Rose?
No, I think that's
also a new character. So mostly new characters, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
It's actually interesting also about the blind assassin, because in the games we're used to having eagle vision. That kind of, gives us a second sight that reveals us about things about our environment, and this person doesn't have that, or maybe has a different form of like eagle sense, that maybe he has super hearing or something. I don't know.
That would be really interesting if they have like a different form of like the standard eagle vision. So yeah, that's a really interesting point. I did not think of that.
I could definitely see this going in like a Daredevil type direction, where is it sound based? Like sounds cause him to see through his eyes, like a sonar.
Because in AC4, I think Mary Reed tells Edward that like you have this sense that you can hear sometimes these noises, and it's like you can actually in the game you hear like when there's a collectible nearby or something, and they kind of make that an actual part of the lore. So maybe it's something like that he can hear sort of clues in his environment, like a spider sense.
Yeah,
that's actually interesting.
Because like maybe he'll be able to hear something, or he'll be able to he might be able to see through his sight still, even though his eyes don't work. He'll be able to see things other people can't, and so that would be put him in a unique kind of spot. But yeah, I think that's all we really got
for now.
I've seen a couple videos out there of them talking to behind the scenes with the cast, and it sounded like they did a couple sample readings from the actual audiobook. So be on the lookout for that stuff. But it comes out soon, February 27th. That's in 4 days from when we're recording this.
And we might do another episode after we've had a chance to hear it.
Oh yeah, I'd love to do like a spoiler cast. That would be great.
Yeah,
that'd be nice. Yes.
Yeah.
And it would be great. We don't know yet, but it would be great if we could have an interview with someone who's connected to the project, but we can't say for sure yet.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully, that was part of the reason why the Mentors Guild is here, because it's a lot easier for us to have someone like that on the show. We're people that Ubisoft knows they can trust, and we're able to bring them in here with people that know the brand really well and know the franchise really well. So hopefully that'd be great. But
we could, if we do get to secure someone like that, we will ask the community to submit questions.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We'll make sure that everyone's aware of we're having this special guest on. Please give us your questions, because the community always comes up with questions you never really think you might not ever think of. But yeah, that's it for AC Gold. Anybody else got anything before AC Gold? Before we kind of...
No.
Nope. All right. Well, yeah, like I said, that comes out February 27th. It's an exclusive Audible audiobook. And that's it for our AC News. Like you said, it's kind of a dry period right now. Not a whole lot going on. And this is the part of the podcast where in the future, we will be taking community questions. But as this is the very first Mentors Guildcast, we don't have any. Maybe we should have asked for some, but this will be, it could be related to specific news or a previous podcast, or maybe about some of the experiences we've had as mentors. But yeah, so if you want to send questions, send those to at Mentors Guild on our Twitter, or to our Instagram at Mentors Guild, maybe in the comments or direct message, what have you. So that's all we really have for our first episode. How'd you guys think again? You think it went good?
Can you believe it? We managed to pull it out. Like, we did it.
It only took us
2 years and a half.
2 years.
We made a
We did it.
podcast.
We did it.
Oh my god.
So proud.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for joining us. We'll be sure to do this again soon. Soon as
Yes.
in we don't know
As
when.
in
We will
soon.
probably have, like we said earlier, that we're going to have rotating mentors, so it's not going to be the same cast every episode. But
That's
you will
right.
get to know some of our other members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so thank you guys so much for joining me.
Thank
Thanks
you.
For talking. It's really good to talk to you guys. And
Thank you.
all right, that's it.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for
Bye.
joining us, the Mentors Guildcast, and that's it. Have a good one.